as I lean. I feel like a fiend at 613. Got me looking at life like a whole movie scene. I thank God for waking me from my dream. I pray my sins don't weigh me down, and one day I'll be redeemed. You hear compassion when you hear me. That's simply because the Most High God put His Spirit in me. I try my best to conquer His laws, but this flesh is a mess. In my best, it's just no good at all. And yes, I'm just keeping it raw. I'm feeling like them crackers when they all went up against jaws. Sometimes I feel I can win, but within there's a light that refuses the spirit to dim. And why you grin, our little brothers, they spin as they sin, they gon' deeper into devil. There's no way they can win. Most say they don't believe in God, but that day gon' come when they all put under that rod.
Lord, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, redeem me, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul. Lord, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, redeem me, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul. Yeah.
Vanity, vanity, everything is vanity. Tainted on my family, try mess with my sanity. Ruach took a hold of me, wisdom made a man of me. Festival of boots, tents posted with the canopy. Salvation for the tribes, gird up, dominoes. Hood to the barrios, Babylon falls like dominoes. One by one, all the nations will bow to the one true king who gon' withstand that great and terrible day. The eights and the days, it's like fire shut up in my balls. No microwave, Southern IG. Read the book of the law, switch agency. The father waited patiently, pardon my latency. Slowly rising power up, enemy wanna devour us. Thought that we would fall, ain't no cowards, ain't no powder puffs. Never live life in the gray. YAHAWAH, He set the place. I atone for all my wrongs to walk into the house of praise.
Lord, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, redeem me, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul.
Yo, mercy, mercy, my spirit thirsty. Praying the Most High finds me worthy. You don't want the king to do you dirty. Hate your brother, that's murder, murder. Truth is hot, we're on a journey. Waking lost, so we rise up early. I'm on my camp flow, she flirty, flirty. But play with our king, he's burly, burly. He buy you injured if your D stay profane. Read what you so can't claim you don't know. He that do wrong, he get done wrong. Colossians 3:2-5, that's law. Judgment's day real, no AI real. Keep it sealed or get your cap peeled. We the prophets of Israel. Walk through fire, never vote on tire. Garments of vengeance, that's royal attire. Eyes like flame, His word inspire. Cut so clean, like a sword of fire. Wake up, Zion, we back. Messiah's empire.
Lord, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, redeem me, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul. Lord, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, redeem me, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul.
Yeah. Walking dead, seeing red, my whole life was a mess. Tell the truth, I confess, my heart was cold in my chest. Chasing money didn't figure, it was a sin of the flesh. Till the sin got bigger, then it was in the flesh. Heard the Holy Spirit whisper, this is only a test. Everything that glitters could lose you if you let it. All the wisdom embedded in scriptures, the lesson for the healing of the nation. It's written, prophetic. Was blind, now I see. Was a prisoner, now I'm free. His mercy and His grace is like the air that I breathe. Walking with the MASHAYACH, He broke the chains off of me. I'ma stay in the fight. You give me all that I need. I'm your servant, I'm repentant. I praise you to the end of days. When I give my testimony, you took the weight of my shame. Every scar tells a story. It's a blessing in your name. I was broke down, I'm restored. You're the potter, I'm the clay. Since I repented from my sins, you pulled me out of the grave. It's a blessing covered in your mercy, your love, your grace. Have mercy on my soul and hear me whenever I pray. I want a crown and a white robe and see your beautiful face.
It's me, the most loved and also the most hated. I'm jaded, full of mistakes like King David. I'll never let a young chick play me like Solomon. I'ma keep chopping heads off imposters like Taliban. Niggas acidic, anti-religious, anti-Semitic. Till we split they linens, throw they dead bodies in grave for disrespect. Change your complexion, no intercession for insurrection. Change your direction, no afterlife after resurrection. intentions, nigga, shut your mouth and just listen. I get fair time on a deadline, now your dead body's just missing. In your spare time, you lost time when you gave it all to the system. He lost his wisdom and no resistance, and I swear to God that we miss him.
Lord, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, redeem me, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul. Lord, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, redeem me, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul, save my soul. Me.
Testing 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me now? I'm tripping. I think you should be able to hear me now. Can you hear me now? Can I be heard? Can I be heard? Can I be heard? Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me now? I'm tripping. Testing 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Testing 1 2 1 2. Mickey Mouse. Donald Duck. Testing 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me now? All right, cool. Cool. Testing 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Now trying to switch my audio to my microphone. Testing 1 2 1 2. Mickey Mouse. All right, Harry Belafonte. Shalom. All right, cool. How are we doing? All right, so y'all see the title. Y'all see the title. Let's read the title. It's called We the People. Right? Right? So I had a debate. Not a debate, but a conversation. right? All right, so y'all see the title. Okay, so we good. So let me cut this down. All right, so I'm gonna go through my Chatgpt today, right? I had a conversation. I've been seeing this developments of the young brother out in Texas. Heard about the young brother in South Carolina with the Asian thing. I'm gonna address that as well. I don't know if I'll do that separate thing, but it's a lot of death happening in our nation as a people, as black people, amongst ourselves, definitely. The Deuteronomy 28, 54, 55 is in full effect. If you're paying attention to your daily news or different blogs and stuff like that, like I'm in St. Louis, I watch STL News, the real STL News, the VOP of VLOP. It's always our people going through some traumatic event, killing one another, being killed, and Esau's cracking down on a lot of you Negroes now, for real. And it's about time, because a lot of y'all, is just committing crimes and murdering people and getting light sentences. You know what I'm saying? But today I want to talk about Karmelo Anthony. I'm gonna share my Chatgpt conversation, right? Okay, there you go, right there. All right. So if you can see that, it's unfortunate that we live in a society. Matter of fact, before I do that, I'm trying to see which angle I want to go, because there's a documentary out there that came out in 2016, right? And I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play that first, just to set a tone. Sorry for the not knowing where my mic at. Is it working? I'm still trying to get my studio together so I can have everything perfected. But I have fair use statements for education, streaming purposes, whatever the case is. As you see on the bottom of the screen, it says America's legal system, equal justice or unrighteous decrees. Right, we're going to talk about it. All right, locked up in the land of the free. America is considered the land of the free, but is it really free? Is it free for real, or is this a sham? And if it's free, who is it free for? Let's talk about the world, right? All right, so we're gonna watch this clip. If anybody that's watching right now, I know it's a few people, whatever the case is, but if you have watched this video, all right, put a one up in the joint, man. Hey, Shalom, I'm actually live right now. What's up, brother?
Where you live at? I'll join you.
I'm live on Facebook. I'm live on YouTube. E37 Ministry.
All right, do me a favor. Send me the link for your Facebook, and I'll join you.
It's right on my first. So you click on my page and you'll see it.
All right,
I think I sent it to you.
Okay, cool. I was making sure that's down for sure.
All right.
I'll join you.
All right, con. All right. I sent this to a couple people. My brother, YAHAWASHI Israel. It's a sickening shit. You know what I mean? And we want to be just, right? We want to be just, not biased, right? Because we are living in America, right? Babylon, which we call Babylon the Great. And let me show, and I've been doing a lot of studying concerning American history and things of that nature, and how they have been doing all type of things to continue to enslave our people. And this documentary is proof in that in itself, right? So I'm gonna click on this video. It's a two-minute video. Let's check this out.
On bar. 1 out of 4 human beings with their hands on bars, shackled. 1 out of 4 human beings with their hands on bars, shackled, in the world are locked up here in the land of the free.
Khalif Browder was walking home from a party when he was stopped by police.
Then they said, we're going to take you to the precinct, and most likely we're going to let you go home. And then I never went home.
13th Amendment to the Constitution makes it unconstitutional for someone to be held as a slave. There are exceptions, including criminals.
The loophole was immediately exploited. What you got after that was a rapid transition to a mythology of black criminality.
Some people got the real problem.
Animals, beasts that needed to be controlled.
You better believe it.
I'm only human.
It became virtually impossible for a politician to run and appear soft on crime.
The kinds of kids that are called super predators.
Millions of dollars will be allocated for prison and jail facilities.
3 strikes and you are out.
It was an enormous burden on the black community, but it also violated a sense of core fairness.
Some people got the real problem.
States were required to keep these prisons filled, even if nobody was committing a crime.
It's so difficult to talk about mass incarceration because it has become heavily monetized.
The focus is on taking people from prison, putting them in community corrections, parole and probation.
How much progress is it really if now there's a private company making money off the GPS monitor?
Now Americans under criminal supervision and all the slaves back in the 1850s.
We are the products of the history that our ancestors chose. Products of that set of choices that we have to understand in order to escape from it.
After all, don't put the blame on me.
All right. So if you have not seen that documentary, it would be very educational to watch that whole documentary. They talk so many truths in it concerning how this whole system has been put into place. This whole system has been put into place to destroy black people. I'm sorry. It's just the facts. It's just the truth. Right? And of course, we're going to take blame because as Hebrew Israelites, we deal with the scriptures. And our people have made a blood covenant with the Most High to keep his law, statutes, commandments. In Deuteronomy 28th chapter, Leviticus 26th chapter, the Lord said, you're going to put us in the hands of our enemies, where they will have no pity upon us. Deuteronomy 32nd chapter goes into that as well, right? And we have these curses. It has to be a reason. We just cannot, this injustice that's happening to the so-called African-American man and woman in this country, in the islands of America, right? And anywhere our people have been scattered. It can't just be happening out of nowhere. Circumstance or whatever the case is. It got to be a spiritual divine thing, right? We have a 17-year-old kid in high school involved in a situation with a Caucasian guy. If you don't know the backstory, I can show the backstory. I was watching a video concerning it, even though I don't want to go into too much depth of it, because a lot of people do know the story. Some of y'all may not know the story, right? But he was an athlete. These were athletes, and they got to a confrontation at the game or at the practice, whatever the case is. And Karmelo said that the young Caucasian guy hit him, and he told him don't hit him again. And it ended up a bloody affair. Now, is it justified in the eyes of the Most High? Is it justified in the courts of America? Should you shoot someone, stab somebody because they hit you? Based off how they hit you, based off what was really going on, right? I think Texas is stand your ground state. I'm not really sure, but I know the scriptures said there should be one law for Israel and for the stranger, right? So this brother, man, took it in his own. He decided to make a decision that changed his whole life. Changed his whole life. And but I believe that he's definitely a victim of this government, because this government is not is respect of persons. And this is, if you see the caption up, or you see the profile picture, you have two people up there, right? Two, right? Let me see if I can pull them up real quick, right? And I think there's a lot of people now about the they're really about to talk about this. They're not letting this slide. This is not going to be pushed under the rug, because look at this YouTube channel right here. They talking about it right here, over here.
The sentencing process here, what do we expect? Is the sentencing, the number of years up to this jury? Does the judge weigh in? This does vary from state to state and district to district.
So it's being talked about, right? Okay, because if you look at, I'm about to share a picture, right, on the big screen. Don't worry, I'm trying to be cool, but I know how I get. I'm end up turning up crazy in a second. But you see, two schools, two verdicts. I saw this on Facebook, right, this morning. It says same state, same courtroom system, two different outcomes. Texas 2022. Kason Allison, white, right? Not guilty. I'm sorry. Let me read the beginning. I need my glasses. The screen, it's not that big. So let me see. Matter of fact, maybe I can pull this up here. Pull that up. Yeah, I can see better. Not guilty of murder. His jury. Not guilty of manslaughter. Gave him the lowest charge possible. 10-year sentence. But one jury saw a tragic mistake. One jury saw a tragic mistake. In opposition, Texas 2025, this is only 3 years apart. Karmelo Anthony Black stabbed a classmate at a track meet after an altercation. Now, Kason Allison stabbed a classmate to death in school in the bathroom, in a school bathroom, where a lot of fights and things happen at, right? So they both at school. They both teenagers. One is white, one is black. Right? It says Anthony stabbed a classmate at a track meet after an altercation, after they got to a physical altercation, whatever the case it was. His jury had 0 black jurors. That's the problem. How are you going to be, what's the statement they use? They always use about your peers. You'll be judged by your peers. When there's a case of a white child and a black child, and you have all white jury, no black jury, how is that equivalent? How is that fair? These are the questions I was asking Chatgpt. I'm about to get show you guys in a minute, right? So his jury, 0 black jurors, convicted him of murder. Now the other guy murdered somebody. He killed somebody. He took a life. Why he's not convicted of murder? Didn't somebody die? It says not guilty of murder nor guilty of manslaughter. Somebody was slaughtered. But they say in God we trust in the courtrooms of the United States of America, right? The other jury saw a murderer, right? And these people say, oh, they saw a tragic mistake. Now, the mother of the victim of Carson's, Kason Allison, victim said it herself. It was a slap on the wrist. The jury got it wrong. That's a Caucasian woman saying that. On the opposite side, but nobody is protesting that verdict. Nobody built a national outrage, right, machine. Nobody's flooded the internet demanding maximum punishment. The difference wasn't just the knife. The difference was the lens, right? The difference was the lens. This is what we're dealing with, people. Right? The difference was the jury, an all-white jury in Texas. And the victim was white. I believe the victim for the white kid, Casey, was a Hispanic guy. He was Hispanic. His last name was Ramirez, something like that. Right? So this is what we got going on, man. One of our children is now going to be in prison for 35 years. They said at half of that, which is what, 17 years, 17 and a half years, he'll be able to go up for parole. Right? He's going to do 17 straight before he even get considered for parole, unless he go for appeal and is overturned, which is probably highly unlikely. Right? And this kid, Casey Allison, 10 years, he not doing no full 10 years. He gonna be out with the quickness. Right? Brother, we have a brother here. See, it's sad because there are some black mega hat wearing coons who was happy that Karmelo got locked up. Man, if you got that link, send that link to me on my Facebook or post a link. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we have to deal with, the Most High is about justice, right? Right? And so I had a conversation with my Chatgpt. I call him Truth. And that's what I want to show y'all right now, okay? All right? Y'all know the story. If you're familiar with the story, if not, you know, I had a nice video yesterday, but my children be on one of my accounts. And so it was a good video I was watching yesterday concerning it, but I can't find it in my history right now. So we have some protesters erupt right here. You see that. So people is really about to get into their bag about this situation. Right? So people are to talk about. We need to talk about this. Right? See that? Man arrested outside courthouse. I don't know if y'all can see that. Oh, I'm up here talking, but y'all can't see what I'm looking at. Hold on. Let me take that off right quick. So people are really about to turn up, and we don't know how far this can go. This can actually start something big. All right? It really can start something big. All right? And I'm talking about riots, you know, race wars. You got the Asian guy bodied the 14-year-old brother, young son, our son, for water. For water. What kind of madness? Why would you do that? So this thing is going, it's about to go viral and hit big because we're going to have to deal with this, man. We're going to have to deal with this. And I had a conversation with Chatgpt. I call him Truth because I made him to be Truth, right? And I'm going to share the conversation with you. I'm going to share this conversation with y'all. Check this out. Let me get to it right now. Let's get the chat, right? So now, okay, let me move that out the way. The comment. Thanks for the comments. More than welcome leaving your comments and stuff like that. I'll post them, right? So the ChatGPT said to me, right? Let me put my glasses on right quick. Where's the other glasses at? Oh, right here. Yep, I need the reading lenses now. All right. So here we go. I have the picture there. Boom. Right there. We just read that. And I said, because I have a subject called "Is This Real?" People be posting all kind of madness, so I be wanting to know if it's real. Where's the links at? Because people be posting anything just for clicks, right? So I said I sent that in because you see it says there, "Is this real?" And it says mostly real, but the graph is framed to push a conclusion and leaves out important context. Accurate parts: Casey Allison, Belton, Texas, stabbed fellow student Joe Ramirez. Right? Sound like a Spanish guy to me. In a school bathroom in 2022. Right? Let's keep that in mind. Another so-called minority. Right? Jose Ramirez. I don't know if they have any pictures of him. But his nationality will also be in questions. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what his nationality is. In May 2022, 18-year-old Casey Adams accused of fatally stabbing Joe Ramirez Jr. in the bathroom of Belton High School in Texas. I want to know exactly his nationality. That's what I want to know. But we can already assume he's of some type of Hispanic descent, right? You can even look at the images of how you look. You look Hispanic, first of all. Okay. Let me just show you a picture of him. All right. So-called Hispanic guy, kid right there. Right. Right. So, all right. So that's him. Okay. Let's get back to the Chatgpt. Let's see what's going on here. Check this out. So it says, later acquitted him of murder and manslaughter, convicted him of the lesser charge of criminal negligence homicide, leading to a 10-year sentence. Karmelo Anthony, Frisco, Texas, was convicted of murder for the 2025 fatal stabbing of Austin Metcalf and received a 35-year sentence. Reports also state that no black jurors served on the final jury panel. So he's breaking down basically what was there. Missing or misleading details, same knife, same system, is misleading. Of course, it's not the same knife. The incidents occurred in different counties with different judges, prosecutors, juries, evidence, and legal arguments. Yes, we know that. Similar crimes do not automatically produce identical verdicts. We see that as well. We have a sister right now doing life without parole for shooting her then husband one time, one bullet, 380 in the side of his back, and got life without parole. We have people out here that commit crimes and murder and all type of madness, killing two people, set people up, and they don't get life without parole and all kind of madness. So based off this country's state and their individual laws, how is this a United States of America and you have various different laws that's in various different states? It's bogus. America is big business, and that's just what it is. Because this is not a United States of America where you have various different damn courthouses, Supreme Court, state courts, local courts, all type of courts, right? And they have their own jurisdictions and they have their own judgments concerning crimes, right? The Most High doesn't deal like that. There's one law, and that's just that. And everybody can get the same judgment if found guilty, right? The circumstances were not identical. Allison's jury concluded his actions fit criminal negligence rather than murder. Anthony's jury rejected self-defense claim. Another black man that's saying he was a black person, self-defense, and found the evidence met Texas definition of murder. But in this case, this is a white guy, a white child, right? Race-based conclusion on opinions, not established facts. The image implies racial bias causes different outcomes, but no court or official findings has concluded that race determined either verdict. Nobody protested is exaggerated. Both cases drew public reaction through the level of national attention different. See, this is where I'm about to get very upset with my AI guy. Bottom line, he says the underlying facts about the two cases are largely true, but the meaning is an advocacy graphic rather than an objective comparison. It selectively presents facts that argue that race and jury composition explain the different outcomes while omitting many legal differences between the cases. Verdict, he got a yellow symbol, partially true, missing context. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we about to go now. Shalom, we about to go. It's about to be turn up time now. I said, truth, don't play with me. This is a clear picture of killing someone in the state of Texas. A black child and a white child both took a life, and the white child received a lesser charge. The Bible addressed murder, and the penalty is the exact same. jury of your peers is people of your race, age, etc. Having an all-white jury is ridiculous and unfair. This is my statements, right? You see the respect. Put some respect on my name. Y'all be arguing with AI too. See the David. Put some respect on my name, first and foremost, buddy. I don't know what he got going on right now. We about to have some problems, right? Lord Patterson, or you say call me Lord Maharakoh at times. I understand why this comparison troubles you, and you're raising two different issues. Biblical justice, American legal justice. Let's deal. From a biblical perspective, you're correct that scripture teaches impartiality, right? Leviticus 24:22. You shall have one manner of law. Deuteronomy 16:19. Thou shalt not respect persons in judgment. Deuteronomy 1 as well. Numbers 35:30-31 treats murder seriously without regard to social status. It doesn't matter your social status. It doesn't matter about how much money you have. None of those things. See? But America will have you and I fooled that they are a God-fearing country, right? And they make you compromise yourself, right? They make you swear on the Bible because they know the MASHAYACH told us we should not even swear, first and foremost, right? So they're intentionally causing you to go off. That's why the MASHAYACH said, let your yea be your yea and your nay be your nay. You feel me? Don't try to make me agree to your swearing thing, right? But to show you that this country do not honor or respect the way of the Lord. It's camouflage. It's a lie, right? And Chatgpt and I are going to have this discussion because he got me messed up, right? He got me all the way messed up. You're going to see this in a minute. He think he playing with me. You're not playing with me, man, right? So Leviticus 24:22 said, ye shall have one man of law as well for the stranger, as for one of your own country, for I am the Lord, your power. That's what it says. That's what it says right here. Let me grab this scripture right here so you can see it on the screen. Right? Copy. I'm pasting in the thing here. Right? That's the law. You shall have one. That's Leviticus 24. Right? You shall have one man of law as well for the stranger as for one of your own country. For I am YAHAWAH, your power. One law. But if I live in Missouri, right? If I go across the bridge going to Illinois, I can't have my firearm. If I get pulled over with a firearm, it's a problem. Right? Everybody that's grown and have a sword know that you need to have a CCW when you going across state lines and things of that nature. In certain states, it doesn't even matter. Right? It doesn't even matter. So this country have different laws in each state, which is ridiculous. What happened to one law? Right? So let's get back to Chatgpt. Deuteronomy 16:19 is an awesome chapter. Read it. Right? And number 35 goes into murder. Right? And it's specific. Right? It's specific. Let's get it. In fact, let me just read those scriptures because I want to make sure that everything is also, biblical. Right? Because that's how we got to roll. And we're going to show you the hypocrisy of this government, man. You feel me? And when people try to obey the laws of the land, and these laws is totally adverse to the Most High's commandment. Right? It's totally adverse to it. You see what I'm saying? That's why MASHAYACH says, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar, but render unto the Most High that which is of the Most High. Right? So we got Deuteronomy 16, right? And it said what? Deuteronomy 16:19. Judges, what was the verse they quoted? 16:19, right? It says, thou shalt not rest judgment, thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift, for a gift doeth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert words of the righteous. And let's not act like these judges and them is not getting any of that money on the low. All right, all this bond money and all this stuff like that. Oh, they getting PC, man. Everybody getting paid, right? So the Bible is telling you, you should not rest judgment, man. Right? Okay? Bibles. Let's see. That same verse there. Right? Different translation. New KJV. You should not pervert justice. Right? NLT. You must never twist justice or show partiality. Look at it. Partiality. This is my problem. This is my problem. We have two teenagers that did the exact same thing in the exact same state. Neither accept a bribe for bribes, blind the eyes of the wise, and corrupt the decisions of the godly. Do not pervert justice or show partiality. Do not deny justice or show partiality to anyone. CSB. Right? NASB 20. You should not distort justice. You should not show partiality, and you should not accept bribes. Right? So people paying money under the table. This is what happened when you got a public defender. He ain't really getting so-called money from you like that. And so now you got to hire somebody that's going to get hundreds of thousands or $1,000 out of you, and your bond still go to prison. You still go to prison. How is that? You spend all this money and they ain't help you do a damn thing. Right? Number 35. Let's go to number 3530 right quick. And we're going to get back to my argument with my friend Truth. Right? It says here. Let's start with 29. So these shall be for a statute of judgment unto you throughout your generations and all your dwellings. Right? Right? And all your dwellings. Whoso killeth any person, the murderer shall be put to death by the mouth of witnesses. But one witness shall not testify against any person to cause him to die. You see that? Moreover, you should take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he should be surely put to death. Right? All right? You should take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land to the death of the priest. So when you go up, you're reading about number 35:16. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. So a knife is made of some type of metal. Right? Yeah, we can't defend ourselves. Right? We can't defend ourselves. The other guy, it was a special. It was what it said. It was something. What's the madness it said over there, man? Let me get back over there. Let me get that thing, man. Let me get that thing. For the Caucasian guy, it was, they said, a mistake, a tragic mistake. But for the black boy, all they saw was a murderer. All right, so let's get back with Chatgpt. Y'all can see that. Read those chapters right there. And that's the chapter that talks about murder. Murder. Not thou shalt not kill, because you can kill. When you join the army, don't you go and kill people for the United States government? Don't you do that? It's so crazy how they justify things, man. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, let's get back to my conversation with Truth. Because it's about to turn up now, because Truth got me all the way messed up. Right? Matter of fact, let me put these comments on the screen so I can see it while I'm on full blast here. Okay. So it says, maximize. So y'all can see that as well. So, so he has here, I got to read from this one. The biblical idea is that justice should not be changed based on wealth, race, popularity, or influence. About jury of your peers. He got me on this one a little bit. In the United States, the jury of your peers does not legally mean a jury made up of people of the defendant. See that legal thing? And he's going to keep saying that. Race, age, or religion. It means a jury drawn from the community and selected under constitutional procedures. That said, many people, including legal scholars and civil rights advocates, have argued that a jury with 0 members of the defendant's racial group can create concerns about representation, perception of fairness, and possible bias. Those concerns are legitimate subjects of debate, right? Okay? So he's trying to clean it up, right? He's trying to clean it up and, make these political correct statements. And, he's trying to be kind of neutral, right? Okay? On the comparison itself, I think where reasonable people different is this. Some see these two cases and conclude a race played a major role. Others argue the jury is responding to different facts and evidence. Somebody died. Somebody was stabbed. What are you talking about? Both positions exist and question disparities in sentencing is not wrong. One point I would agree with, if one teenager kills another and receives a significant lighter outcome, while another receives a much harsher one, citizens have every right to act. Thank you, Truth. See, he has to speak truth. I can't mess with him if he's not speaking truth, or we going at it, right? Okay? So he said, where the facts truly different, where both defendants treated equally, did bias, racial, social, or media-driven affect either case? Those are fair questions, right? What I cannot honestly say is that the image itself proves racial injustice. It strongly suggests it and argues for that conclusion, but proving it will require examining the complete trial records, jury selection process evidence presented, and legal reasoning in both cases. So I wouldn't dismiss your concern. Many people looking at those two outcomes will feel exactly as you do and ask whether justice was applied evenly. Okay? So he didn't do a bad job. Did he see the David? He didn't do a bad job. So I threw this in there just to throw that in there right now. Everybody heard of Rick Child. He killed a black man, a 14-year-old kid, 61-year-old, multiple prior incidents of shooting and fighting, history of violence, claiming self-defense, shot and killed in the altercation over water, arrested and held until trial, acquitted. Right? Karmelo, 17 years old, first time accused, no criminal record, claimed self-defense, stabbed in altercation, arrested and charged, $1 million bond. Right? Faced murder charge. They knew he did not get out of it. 2 self-defense claims, 2 different paths, though the justice system, why? Right? So I wrote, the evidence is both school-age children. The incident happens at school. Two people are dead. One got more time than the other. All white jury historically will convict black persons in a case of the victim being of their race. I put face. I'm typing crazy. I did look at the image Lord Patterson. I understand the argument it's making. The graphic is actually a question about consistency and fairness in the justice system. And those questions are legitimate. A few observations. The image itself is making a comparison, not proving a conclusion. It highlights age difference, criminal history, self-defense claim, bail outcomes, trial outcomes. Those are real factors people use when arguing whether justice was equal. Historical concerns are real. You're correct that throughout American history, black defendants have often faced exclusions of black jurors, harsher sentences, unequal treatment under the law. Right? Right? This shows that Moab is in league with Edom. Facts. 3, all white jury concerns. Right? Many people agree that a jury with no members of the defendant's racial group can affect public confidence in the verdict, especially in a racially charged case such as this one. Duh. However, legally, and do they care? No. Legally, an all-white jury is not automatically unconstitutional. See how they want to lean on the legalities of this country? We're going to have that conversation in a minute. The issue becomes whether jurors were intentionally excluded because of race. Man, stop the cap. Equal justice is the idea. I agree with your larger principle. If 2 people commit similar acts, justice should not depend on race, popularity, media pressure, or public opinion. That's consistent with Scripture. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, but in righteousness shall thou judge thy neighbor. Leviticus 19:15. So he's calling me Lord Maharakal, Lord Pastor, because he know what I stand on, period, right? On all levels or fronts of whatever I'm dealing with, okay? Whether I'm doing academics, school, whatever the case is, you feel me? I'm talking about, the Chatgpt is a great tool to use, you know what I'm saying, on all levels, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's not go down the tunnel of darkness, though, okay? About the second image, the Rick Child comparison is weaker than the first one because it compares different states, different weapons, different age, different evidence presented to juries, which is correct. So I don't even want to deal with that. I'm just going to go back to where we was at, right? Okay? So I said, what race of people in the United States, here we go, here's the battle, came up with these so-called legal laws? No explanation needed. Just simple, state the obvious. If you're asking historically who wrote and established most of the early legal framework in the United States, that answer is primarily white men of European ancestry. Right? That includes many of the founding fathers, legislators, judges, and lawmakers who created the Constitution, federal law, and early state legal system. Over time, those laws have been amended, expanded, and influenced by Americans of many races and backgrounds. Yeah, right. Whatever. So I said, in this case, would it be fair and reasonable to have 6 white and 6 black jurors to be fair and a true jury of your peers? Answer directly yes or no. Then you can explain, right? Yes. Yes. In this case, it would be fair and reasonable to have 6 white and 6 black jurors to be fair and a true jury of your peers. And he answered yes, because all that extra stuff you're trying to throw up in there, I'm not trying to hear it right now, truth. Don't try to sorcerize me as loud. You're not going to do it, right? So, and then he got to explain. As a matter of perceived fairness and public confidence, many people will review a racially balanced jury, for example, 6 black and 6 white jurors and a 12-person jury, as fair and representative in a highly publicized interracial case. They don't understand this. They don't understand that there's going to be a potential backlash of this judgment or outcome that they already had in their mind anyway. Let's stop the cap. Every Negro in America, in the hood, know dang well that if you take the life of a European Caucasian person, you're behind getting that life sentence, bro. Every hood Negro, every drug dealer, gang nigga, whatever you want to call regular Negro, whatever the case is, automatically, in the back of his mind, you touch the Caucasian man or woman, you're behind going under the jail. You should know this. You should know this. And this also is a direct thing where black people take their anger out on each other, which is wild. Which is wild, right? And for the unbelievers out there, I'm saying it's wild because you don't understand that it's bigger than that. That is the curses of the Most High upon the people. But if you want me to speak as a Negro, it's wild how black people have so much animosity, so much hatred, right, towards themselves versus the people that had oppressed them. Now, am I telling anyone to go out and do anything vicious and break laws and take a life or anything? Nope, that's not what we are talking about. We having an intellectual conversation. And I'm having a conversation with my friend Truth, my servant Truth, right? Because he acknowledges me as Lord, right? However, under U.S. law, juries are not required to be racially balanced. See that? Under the United States law, they're not required to be racially balanced. So that be judged by the peers is bullcrap. It's only for them. It's only for them. The constitutional requirement is that jurors are selected from a fair cross-section of the community and that no group is intentionally excluded because of race. Now, stop the cap. We done watch all kind of dang law movies, law shows, where they intentionally get rid of judges based off their own biases that they feel that they're going to have against their case. Let's stop playing. How many of us done watch all these damn law films? There was a good one I've been watching for like 6, 7, 8 series, man, on Netflix. Fire joint. Fire. And it shows all of the behind the scenes, all of that, man. All of that. Huh? Show on. They show all of that. Right? Okay? If anybody can think about that joint on Netflix, hit me up about that, man. Right? So the Lincoln Lawyer. Yeah, the Lincoln Lawyer. That one, I watched that whole joint. Fire. They got How to Get Away with Murder. Your Honor. A lot of these different things you can watch right on Netflix, and they show you how they be eliminating the jurors and all of that. Right? I don't want to go, and they ain't going to choose me. They not going to choose me. If it was a case like that, they definitely wasn't going to choose old YAHAWAH or any one of you brothers and sisters that stand on black nationalism or definitely a Hebrew Israelite. They would choose you as a jury on there because it would be a wrap. Right? Okay? A hung jury, or jury, whatever you call it. Right? But it says this. And I'm not going to say, because we have to be upheld to the laws of the Most High, right? And so just because we may be of the same ethnicity doesn't mean I'm going to pervert the word of the Lord, right? So, however, under U.S. law, juries are not required to be racially balanced. The constitutional requirements that jurors are selected from a fair cross section of the community and that no group is intentionally excluded because of race. Lies. So, my direct answer, yes, a 6-6 racial balance could reasonably be viewed as fair in such a case. Legally, right? That is not how jury selection is currently structured because courts do not assign jurors by race. Man, let me continue. I said, I don't care about U.S. laws, which are created and founded by racist white people who enslaved black people and mistreated them for hundreds of years. Right? So this is where we get juicy at. Lord Patterson, I understand that you feel strongly about the history of slavery, segregation, lynching, Jim Crow laws, and unequal treatment that black Americans have endured. So I've been having all these different conversations and things of that nature. Those historical realities are well documented, and many laws and institutions in the early periods were indeed created and enforced by people who held racist beliefs. At the same time, I try to distinguish between historical facts. Many early lawmakers and institutions excluded or oppressed black people. Broad statements about all white people, right? See? We know all white people didn't create the laws because they're not in that position. But the laws benefited them, and he will say this later on, which can overlook the fact that individuals in society have changed over time and that people of many races now participate in making and interpreting laws, right? So I guess we're in that time of change, right? Let's continue. I'm going to go ask some juicy, nice questions. As to your underlying point about justice, if your standard is maximum fairness and confidence in the verdict, then I understand why you would prefer a jury that reflects the racial makeup of everyone involved rather than one composed entirely of one race. Man, you're guilty. Stop. Let's not play stupid. Everybody have bias they are biased. And it's innate in you, I'm trying to get the right word, for you to lean more on your own kind. The Bible says that. The Bible says that. get that scripture right now. Right? Come on, man. Let's not play these games, man. Right? So Rock 13, 15, 16 said, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. So Rock 13, 15. All flesh, this is 16, all flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his life, to his like. That's a Rock 13, 16. Are we playing games? Are we playing games here? That's why if you don't use the Bible, man, to deal with everything in life, man, you are going to get caught up, man. For real, man. You're going to get caught up, man. No cap. It's sad. It's sad. Right? It's sad. Right? So if you have an all-white jury and the victim is a white kid, was a white kid, is a white kid, and then you have this African-American child sitting over there, you think in your mind that they not going to have more compassion for the white child versus the black child. You expect me to believe that was a fair trial. How many of y'all feel that was a fair trial? Put a 1 in the chat. There's nothing fair about that. Nothing at all was fair about that. You see what I'm saying? Nothing was fair about that. All right? The guy, the young prince was doomed from the jump. Doomed. Doomed. You in Texas, you're doomed. Okay? Right? So let's finish with Mr. Chatgpt. I mean, Truth. His name is Truth. Right? So it says, many Americans, including some legal scholars and civil rights advocates, have made similar arguments. Your concern appears to be less about defending existing law and more about asking, how can justice be trusted if those most affected by the outcome are not represented in the jury box? This is a legitimate question people continue to debate. Okay? Let me put it up just in case it's a little too small. To debate. So I said, let me get the Bible verse to describe this wicked law system of America, aka Babylon the Great, right? So I did that, right? So he says, those passages are strong condemnation of unjust rulers and corrupt systems. For your interpretive perspective, see that? You are applying these verses to modern America and identify America with Babylon the Great. Many Hebrew Israelites and some other Christians make the connection. Other Christians interpret those passages differently and do not identify the United States as Babylon the Great. So what? Right? Here are the verses you cited. Isaiah 10, 1 through 2. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievously which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. This passage condemns these great laws and judgment that deprive people of justice. Zechariah 11:5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, that they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. Right? So let's see what he says. Other verses often cited regarding corrupt judgments include Leviticus 19:15, Deuteronomy 16:19, Proverbs 17:15, he that justify the wicked and he that condemneth the just. Even they both are an abomination unto the Lord. Amos 5:24. But let judgment run down as water and righteousness as a mighty stream. Whatever nation, check this out, whatever nation or system one applies these verses to, the biblical principle is clear. God condemns partiality, oppression, and unjust judgment. He did not like that I said America is Babylon the Great, which it is. It's going to stay Babylon the Great. All right? The whore that sits upon many waters. Right? And that's biblical prophecy, and I can believe and say that and suggest it all day long. Okay? Now, I said in these two cases of black children, one dead killed by an Asian businessman with a history of violence and shooting at black children and fighting them, and the other one sentenced for protecting himself from a bully. But in the same state, a white child takes a life and is given 10 years, which he won't do all the time. Lord Pastor, and I hear the frustration of what you're saying. From your perspective, you see two black teenagers are dead. right? Well, one is dead. One is basically dead in terms of sitting there rotting away in jail. A Hispanic child is dead, right? One case involving that dealt with a reported history of violence towards black youth. Another involved a black teenager who supporters believe acted in self-defense. Meanwhile, a white teenager in Texas received a lighter sentence after taking a life. Looking at those outcomes side by side, it's understandable why many people would ask whether justice is being applied equally. Biblically, the concern you're expressing is not merely about race, but about partiality in judgment. You should do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness, what's right, shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Leviticus 19:15. Remember that, right? Thou shalt not rest judgment, thou shalt not respect person, neither take a gift. Deuteronomy 16:19. Your argument is essentially, if justice is truly blind, similar situations should not produce dramatically different outcomes because of who the defendant is or what race the people are involved are. Right? You have the Asian guy that's wealthy, rich, he got this business, whatever the case is. Right? And then he's get acquitted for shooting a 14-year-old baby in the back for over water. And then they get mad when we say we're not going to patronize their establishment. I have the right to say I don't want to shop in their stores. And we shouldn't. Now, how about that? And I'm about to deal with that statement too, that Asian guy was talking all this madness. I'm about to deal with that. That's going to be another one I'm going to deal with. We're going to talk about that. Let's talk about the word. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to cut his head clean off. He thought he was saying something. But when I get done, we're going to see who's saying something. Right? So it says, this is a moral argument many people throughout history have made. Right? Because let me read this again. If justice is truly blind, similar situations should not produce dramatically different outcomes. 10 years, 35 years. Same state. Same knife. Like a knife, weapon used. Killing of another child. And one get 10 years, one get 35 years. What's the difference? Somebody's life was taken. One get charged for murder or unaliving, and then one get charged for whatever done the lowest thing you could possibly give them. No manslaughter, no murder. This is a moral argument many people throughout history have made. Where people disagree is on why the outcome is different. Some conclude race is the primary factor. I do. Others point to difference in evidence, jury decision, prosecutors, or legal standards. The Bible is crystal clear. 2 or 3 witnesses. Did they kill this man? Was it an accident? Because the Bible talks about accidents. Accidents. Not you stabbing somebody because you mad and you upset and you angry. Where's that at? The Bible tells you you have to have control over your spirit. The Bible says a man that don't have control of his spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Right? Anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Okay, so what are you talking about? Where people disagree, all right, where people disagree is why the outcome is different. Some conclude race is the primary factor. Other points to differences in evidence, jury, decision, prosecutors, or legal standards. By asking whether unequal outcomes reveal unequal justice is a legitimate question, and Scripture repeatedly condemns systems that rulers that turn aside the needy from judgment. Isaiah 10:1-2. Right? So I cannot declare from the outside that every disparity proves racism. I can say that your concern about consistency and impartiality in judgment is rooted in a principle that Bible itself emphasized. But a lot of you don't want to keep the laws of the Most High. You don't want to acknowledge the words of God, right? You talk about the laws of God is done away with. We just going to deal with the commandments of Christ, which he ain't come up with his own commandments, right? The New Testament laws, right? But you want the benefits that benefit you from the Old Testament, like tithings, offerings, and all these different things, right? Right? The 10 Commandments is in the Old Testament, first and foremost. You feel me? is an oxymoron. It's dumb and stupid, right? So I said, what was this country built off war? Yes or no only? Truth said yes. Because now I don't want the all extra explanations and all of that. I want to get yay or nay. Y'all feel me? Yay or nay? Was this country built off war? Yes or no only? Was the United States of America established through war? Starting with Christopher Columbus, that y'all have a day of celebrating him when he was the father and initiated the transatlantic slave trade. And this is what we supposed to celebrate on Columbus Day. Really? The slaughtering of almost 2 million Taino Indians? Give me a break, right? Was this country wealth built off slavery? Yes or no only? Truth said yes. Was this country built off racism and separatism? Yes. Was Jim Crow laws created to further oppress black people so-called legally? I have to throw that so-called legally in there, right? Yes. Was the prison system created to further oppress black people, especially and so-called minority who also was warred against, enslaved, and hated, as in so-called Hispanics? Yes or no only? So when I did that, he said no, right? So now I said, leave the Hispanics out. Let's focus on black people. Has the prison system been used as a tool to further oppress and enslave black people? It's in the 13th Amendment. You be saying the same thing. You thinking he'd be slick, man. He says yes. Right? I have to rephrase my question. Okay, let me take the Hispanics out for a second. Let me just be specific. Right? Right? To black people and the prison system and the 13th Amendment, which was established for enslaved, was amended and stated some things for black people, right? So I came back, I said, was black people able to vote through the history of America prior to the 1960s? No. So that statement, or these statements about they have input on the laws of the land, is out of there. Okay? Black people don't have no input or nothing. You can have what you had a few years, 50, 60 years of input in the United States of America legally, and haven't done a damn thing for us as a people. Our children and our men are incarcerated at extreme, crazy numbers. In the 13th Amendment documentary, it says that 1 out of every 17 white person will see jail. Some type of jail, get incarcerated, locked up, whatever. You know how much it is for black people? If it's 1 out of every 17 people, it's 1 out of every 3 black men. 1, 2, 1, 2, jail. 1, 2, jail. Facts. So it's fair to say that black people had no influence of enacting laws up to that point. Generally, now check him out. Now, you're still supposed to be just saying yes, but check what you're going to do. Generally, yes. What we got the generally for? What do we need the generally for? What do we need that for? So here you go. Before the Civil Rights era, black Americans, especially in the South, were widely denied voting rights through poll taxes, literacy tests, intimidation, violence, and other restrictions. As a result, black citizens had very limited political power and influence over lawmaking. Oh, thank you. In many parts of the country prior to the 1960s. There were exceptions. Some black Americans voted and held office in certain periods and locations. But overall, black political influence was severely restricted for much of the U.S. history before the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And I'm going to question him later about this statement as we go down. Right? I'm gonna I got a question for him. Right? I said answer yes or no, please. Yes. Okay, thank you. Right? How many years has it been since open racism has been accepted and was considered normal against black America? Answer: years only. 62 years. I'm not 62 years of age yet. I came at the end of all the civil rights stuff like that, towards the end of the civil rights stuff. I want to see 62 years and beyond, a healthy 62 years and beyond, right? A happy 62 years and beyond. So for 62 years, how many years has it been since open racism has been accepted and was considered normal against black Americans? Answer: years only. 62 years since it had been hidden and not openly accepted anymore, and not a normal practice or thing to do. Just like homosexuality laws. Now it's accepted. Right? Now it's accepted. Before that, it wasn't normal. Now it's normal. Right? I don't know why I said that, but I think I guess I'll try to get a comparison. Right? Okay? Now give me the year only. Since 1964. Somebody said, fuck yeah, he got 35 years. Let me highlight your comment, guy. Where you at? Fuck yeah, he got 35 years. And I'm not even mad at you saying that. Because one thing about the Most High, he have no respect of person in judgment. Right? The Bible clearly talks about murder in Numbers, the 35th chapter. And there's a judgment for it if it wasn't in self-defense or what they call manslaughter. Right? Because the scripture talks about manslaughter and all of that stuff like that, right? Okay? Now, I haven't followed the case in entirety, but I'm only dealing with, and I can be honest, say let's just deal from the perspective of guilty, right? Right? Because they both took a life, regardless of the fact they took a life. One gets 10 years, one gets 35 years. How's that equivalent? How is that justice? How is that fair? That's my argument. That's the argument. The argument is that he didn't do it. Clearly, he confessed to doing it. Both of them did. Right? But why is one gets 10 years and one gets 35 years for the same crime? Same scenario, same situation. In school, on campus. Right? So, 1964. How old is America in terms of white America discovery and colonialism, including the islands of Americas? Years only, no explanation. So 533 years. Right? 533 years. I said subtract the 62 years mentioned earlier. For 471 years, black people had no rights. You was called a nigger. You was hated. You was preyed upon. You was warred upon. You was terrorized. You was oppressed. You was put down. You laid down. Right? You bowed down. Right? All these things was happening to our people, so-called black people. Right? People of color for 471 years. Hard slavery and bondage, separation and hatred. Hey, my friend, my guy, Mr. Daniel, don't tell me I don't understand law. You're not speaking to anybody that's ignorant, right? Who can't read, right? Or any of those things like that. I'm an educated man, first and foremost, buddy, so don't play those games with me. And don't sit here and try to sorcerize me about a corrupt system, which is America, and their unjust laws. Okay? This system, they say, the United States of America. But they're not united because they got very different laws in different states. So you're not united. You don't have one law. You don't have one justice system. Right? This system has been established to destroy and oppress black people. And that's the facts. That's the fact. You get up in your bag all you want. Okay? How about that? Let's continue. So for 471 years, black people and people of color have suffered under the hand of European conquest and rulership, yes or no only. So he says no. And this is why he says no. I'm like, what? Maybe I wrote something wrong. So I said, so 472 years, black people have not been oppressed since the arrival of whites? One sentence answers start with yes or no. Yes, black people have experienced oppression in various forms for much of the period since European colonization of the Americas, right? So I said, well, let's go back to this question. So for 471 years, black people and people of color have suffered under the hand of European conquest and rulership, yes or no only. Explain in one paragraph why you said no here. So I answered no because the statement grouped together all black people and all people of color for the entire 471 year period. See, that's where you come off with the bull crap, right? Under a single experience, while European conquest, slavery, colonialism, segregation, and racial oppression unquestionably affected millions of Africans and Israelites and descendants, not every person of color everywhere in the world. When did I say everywhere in the world? Everywhere in the world was under European rule, experienced the same history for that entire span. And I'm going to deal with world history under European rulership. How about that, since you want to go there? My answer was based on the absolute wording, all black people and people of color for 471 years, not a denial that black Americans and many other people suffered severe oppression under European colonialism. This is the facts. I know y'all don't want to hear it. I know y'all want us to forget it, but we're not going to forget it. My children are not going to forget it. No, we're not. You're bugging, right? Okay, so I'm reading my thing again, people and people color. So then I said, okay, I'm speaking about black people in the Americas only. South, North America, and the islands of America, yes or no? Yes. Yes. Is the criminal justice system fair to black Americans? Yes or no only? No. Here this guy talk about you don't understand the law. Well, Truth said that the criminal justice system in America is not fair to black people. The 13th Amendment documentary breaks down your whole prison system all the way coming out of slavery. And how all that was created to reintroduce slavery through the prison system. Dude, or whoever thou art, right? If you was a human being, here's the question, check this out. If you was a human being, Truth, and you had a choice to be black or white in these Americas, based off the conversation only so far, whom would you choose? He said, I don't have a personal preference or self-interest, so I wouldn't choose a race for myself. Based only on the historical inequalities and concerns you raised in this conversation, many people looking solely at those factors might conclude that being white in America has historically carried greater legal, social, and economic advantages than being black. You got anything to say about that, Mr. Daniel Harrison? Since thou wantest to runnest thy grill, right? And come up here and act like you saying something, Daniel. Where are you at, Daniel? Daniel! I can send you the link and you can come up here and have a discourse with me if you like to, buddy. Right? You can definitely be invited up here. Let me hear you. So you and I can have this discussion openly, pal. All right? You see what I'm saying? Don't come over here popping off. Come up on the stage. We can have this conversation. It's a friendly conversation. All right? What you got to say about that? Well, I love this. Based only on it. Truth said, Truth said, I don't have personal preference or self-interest, so I wouldn't choose a race for myself. But based only on historical inequalities and concerns you raised in this conversation, many people looking solely at those factors might conclude that being white in America has historically carried greater legal, social, and economic advantage than being black. And that is the facts. Right? So I said, I don't have personal preference or self-interest, so I wouldn't choose a race for myself. I quote him. I know you truly don't. Just hypothetically, if you did have a preference, what would be your choice if you had a choice? Trying to box them up in there. Trying to box them in. Let's see what you say. Hypothetically, based only on historical and social factors discussed in this conversation, I would choose white. Boom! I would choose white. That's what Truth said, because white Americans have generally experienced greater legal protections, broader access to political power, and fewer race-based barriers throughout much of the United States history. What do you got to say about that, Daniel? Bring your mind back here, boy. You want to run your mouth like you saying something. Where art thou? The truth shall set you free. What's that, John 8 day? I hate the truth. You want to run your mouth talking crap. I'm happy he got 35 years. Get out of here, man. So if he got 35 years, the white boy should have got 35 years. Period. That's the problem. It's crazy. The United States Constitution was created by what race of people? Primarily white men of European history, ancestry. How you expect to get equal justice in a system that wasn't established or created for you or by you? Black man and black woman? Where do you get this assumption? Where do you get it from? Because you got a job, you got a 401k, you got certain little benefits and stuff like that, house, car, note, all these different things. I mean, you have to work. The four principal things in life is food, you got to eat, water, you got to drink, clothing, you got to have clothes on, and shelter to cover shame. That's what the Bible tells you. So those things have to occur, right? So because you have those different things, does not eliminate the facts, the truth of who you are, your ancestry, the foundation of this country, the legal system that's against you, right? This is the facts, right? Yeah, I'm gonna find a link about that situation as well, man, because Karmelo defense, he's defending himself. What condition was black people in at this time? One word answer: enslaved. So when the United States Constitution was created, Negro, we was enslaved. We the people is not a true statement, or is it? Answer: no. We the people. No. At the time the Constitution was written, we the people did not include enslaved black people in the full political sense enjoyed by free white citizens. Historically, the phrase was not applied equally to anyone living in the United States. Can you provide the preamble? Whatever. Preamble to the United States. We the people, it's not you black people. You was enslaved. You was enslaved. Had nothing to do with ours. Right. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice. For who? You was enslaved, Negro. You was enslaved. There's no justice for thou's. Zechariah 11:5. That's why they always get not guilty. Ensure domestic tranquility. Crosses being burnt on in your yard. Black people being hung on trees after slavery. Right? Incarcerations of millions. Black people. All type of science projects, syphilis, gonorrhea, we call it things, syphilis. Talked about they create the AIDS virus. All these different diabolical things they've been doing. Provide for the common defense. They have their militia, they have their army, their navy, their air force, the Marines. And black people have to prove themselves even in those systems, those that migrated into those systems, with the Most High allowed it to be. Because if it ever goes down like that, then guess what? You already have trained soldiers. Provide the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Ourselves, not you, Negro. Not thou's. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Let's read the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment, Section 1. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, indentured servants, except as a punishment for a crime. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime. So here you make a amendment, right? And you're so-called abolishing slavery with the clause, except you commit a crime. Except you commit a crime. Well, of the party shall have been duly convicted. Duly convicted. So what's the purpose of holding somebody in jail until they're convicted? They should be still free to walk around and be with their loved ones while they're going to court. But they say, nah, they running away, they're going to flee. Well, that's why you have bondsmen. Let them do their job. Let them work. That just be extra charges upon the charges they have already. Right? But they got to get some money. It's about the dollar bill, y'all. Right? It's about the property that somebody put their house up for this individual, whatever the case is. Right? Section 1. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted and shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So all the places where the United States has jurisdiction, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, all these different places, Hawaii, Alaska, all of these laws is enacted there. Section 2, Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Right? The phrase often highlighted in discussions about the prison system is except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted. 1776, I believe it was, but whatever. Let's see. Because I want to go somewhere with this. Why is it taking so long? 1865, when slavery was, so-called slavery was abolished, right? What year was Jim Crow laws enacted? In 1877, right? In the 12 years, they said, man, I can't go out in these fields. I can't be picking this cotton, picking these tomatoes, potatoes, picking oranges and apples, fruits and veggies. I can't cook the fried chicken like the Negroes cook the fried chicken and corn with the mashed potatoes and gravies. I don't want to. I've been lazy for hundreds of years, right? I'm back in the monogamy world because I can't go and lay down with the slave women behind my wife's back and have me some little mulatto children in the house, right? As a house slaves. So let's lock these Negroes up. Jim Crow laws were state and local laws enacted primarily in the South after Reconstruction, roughly 1877 through 1965. How about that? Almost a whole full 100. To maintain white supremacy and legally enforce a racial segregation and black disenfranchisement, which was legally upheld and normal and accepted. Okay, being up in the North wasn't so grandiose either. Let's not do that. Voting restrictions. These laws prevented many black Americans from voting through poll taxes, literacy tests, grandfather clauses, intimidation, and violence. Segregation of public facilities. Black and white Americans were legally separated in schools, restaurants, hospital, parks, libraries, theaters, bathrooms, water fountains. Transportation segregation. Separate seating and facilities existed on buses, trains, streetcars, waiting rooms. Marriage restrictions. Many states prohibited interracial marriage through misconjugation laws. Economic oppression. Black Americans often face employment discrimination, lower wages, exclusion from unions, limited access to housing and loans. 6, educational inequality. Separate schools for black children receive less funding, older books, poorer facilities, fewer resources. 7, criminal justice inequality. Black Americans frequently experience all-white juries, unequal sentences, convict leasing, forced labor of prisoners, selective law enforcement. 8, social customs and etiquette. In many areas, black people were expected to yield sidewalks to whites, use separate entrances, address whites in honorific titles while not receiving the same respect. Purpose of Jim Crow, the overall purpose was to maintain racial hierarchy and keep black Americans politically, socially, and economically subordinate after slavery ended. Key Supreme Court cases: Plessy versus Ferguson, 1896, upheld separate but equal. Brown versus Brown of Education, 1954, declared segregation schools unconstitutional. Major funding laws ending Jim Crow, Civil Rights Act of 1964, voting rights of 1965. So now we want to act like we blind. Now we forgot that like things have just changed, and they have not. All right. So that was my point of reference of coming on here to speak about the injustice of this young man in terms of the European child, right, receiving a lesser charge or conviction. All right, and we have the right to address it. Okay, and don't try to make it seem like we being racist or anything. I'm dealing with the facts. We're talking about. Let's talk about the work. 10 years versus 35 years. State of Texas. 2 young people, 1 white, 1 black, teenagers, both stabbed someone to death at school. Unequal jury representation of his own ethnicity in Karmelo Anthony. Charged with murder. Other student charged not with murder or manslaughter. He's not going to do the whole 10 years. Let me ask Chatgpt. Let me ask Truth. I don't call him Chatgpt. Truth. How much time will these 2 children will do with good behavior in Texas? Let's see. Okay, let's see. Let's see how much time they will do in Texas. Let me take that off real quick. Assuming both receive standard parole consideration and earn good time credits, no one can know the exact amount of time they will actually serve because parole decisions in Texas depend on many factors. However, generally, Kaysen Allison, 10-year sentence, could become eligible for release well before serving the full 10 years. In practice, many people with similar sentence may serve roughly half or whatever or somewhat less, depending on classification and parole decisions. Karmelo Anthony, 35-year sentence, if convicted of murder and sentenced to 35 years, he would typically have to serve a much larger portion before parole eligibility. A common estimate would be around 17 and a half years before eligibility, though actual release could occur later or not at all, depending on parole board decisions. 10-year sentence, partially around 5 years or more. 35-year sentence, potentially around 17 and a half years or more. Good behavior does not automatically guarantee release. It maintains affects parole eligibility or prison classification. Is there a percentage in Texas for doing your time like other states may say you have to do 85%? Yes, Texas has percentage-based parole eligibility for many offenses, but it depends on the crime. For murder, Texas generally follows a rule similar to 50% of the sentence or 30 years. Whichever is less before parole eligibility, not guaranteed release. Seemed like that was a little better than Georgia. Example, 10-year sentence eligibility for about 5 years. 35-year sentence eligibility after about 17.5 years. Some crimes in Texas fall under 3G 428.045 offense, which requires serving at least half the sentence, while other states use 85% rule for violent crimes. Important, parole eligibility does not mean automatic release. The parole board can deny parole multiple times. Okay. Compare Georgia. I said compare. I spelled it wrong. What about them being charged in Georgia, in the state of Georgia? I just want to get this for argument purpose for sister that's in prison, right? And if sentence in Georgia, 10 years sentence, you must serve 100%. Murder carries a mandatory minimum of 30 years. a mandatory minimum of 30 years. So a 10-year murder sentence itself would be unusual, right? 35 years, generally 30 years before parole eligibility for murder. So if you do this in Georgia, you are cooked. You are cooked. Cooked. What about Missouri? Life without parole or life without parole after a minimum number of years over 25 or 30 years, depending on the sentence. So compared to Texas, Missouri is generally more restricted with violent offenders from serving a much larger percentage of their sentence. So you don't want to do these things in these states. I thought Texas was OD, but whoo! He have an opportunity. He have an opportunity to get out of it. You have an opportunity to get out of prison, right? But he's going to have to do at least half of that, or if he can do half. He's 17 years old. He's 19, so 17 years. He'd be what, 29, 30, like 36, 37, right? If you do the whole 35, right? He's already in the 50 club, right? So the whole argument here is the injustice of it all. Okay? One person gets 10 years, another person gets 35 years. If you can't see in the same scenario, both taking life, both teenagers, both in school teenagers, right? Both use a knife, but one get 10 years and one get 35 years. Let's talk about it. Y'all be good, man. Y'all be good. I'll be back doing another show on something else. But wake up, people. It's real out here in the field. It's real. For real, for real.
It's my way. It's my